Hey guys, welcome to Wombat Gaming. I'm going to just be going over traits and skills. I guess we've only got a couple hours to go. Well, less than that now actually. So I thought I'd just do a live stream. Been looking into this, trying to work out what I'm going to be doing in regards to how I'm going to set up my character. And I guess there's a lot of people out there that are probably thinking the same thing. So yeah, if you are on the live stream, welcome. Please pop into chat and let me know your thoughts and we'll get started. This is being recorded, so yeah, we can go back and have a look at it later. Well, look, the first thing I want to talk about is a great little tool some people may or may not be aware of. That is this tool. So it's yeah, it's nukesdragons.com. I will post the link. Well, basically it's nukesdragons.com and then / Starfield. You can just go to that website and it enables you to pre-set up and pick all the skills and traits that you want for your character. And yeah, it's pretty good because you can essentially just click on as you can see, a skill, and it tells you what the first rank gives you, tells you what the second, third, fourth, etc. Don't want any more, and essentially you can work your way through. Now there are some locked traits in here. You can see, we'll just go back to the main screen. This is your skill section, and then we have to choose traits down the bottom here. This planner is currently under development because the game is brand new, so it could change slightly. But I've used this extensively with Fallout 4 and Fallout 76. It is a very good tool, so I recommend using it. It helps you build out a very good character. All right, well, let's get into it. Let's talk about the traits. Look, the build that I'm going to be going for in my character is going to be like a trader, trading empire. And I'm going to do some smuggling and piracy on the side. So yeah, I think that's, I don't know how that's going to work with the game. I haven't played the game yet. I wasn't lucky enough to be able to get a copy. Don't have enough followers, I guess. But anyway, that's the way it goes. And so we'll be learning as we jump into it at, well, my time, 10 a.m. So yeah. Let's have a look at the first lot. Let's just go to, actually, let's start with traits, because this is going to be probably one of the first things that you're going to want to have to pick. And yeah, pros and cons in regards to a lot of these traits, and see how we go. I found a cool, I've been kind of doing a bit of research. I found a good website that had some nice pictures, so we'll bring that up and have a look at that one. We'll start with alien DNA and work out, you know, they've got some, I guess you could say, what their pros and cons are. You can see there, which are pretty standard anyway. You can only have 3 traits. You don't have to have traits at all, I believe, so you can leave them, they are optional, so you don't have to have any. But obviously, I think it would be a benefit definitely to having traits and picking a few of these. So let's go through them and have a look. We'll start with alien DNA. My experience is based off Fallout 4 and 76 and what my beliefs around a lot of these things are. So please, you know, give me your feedback if you think I could be way off course in some of this stuff. But look, alien DNA, I know in Fallout 76, DNA, that kind of, this is alien, but in there it was mutations and things like that gave you advantages, and I definitely played the game with mutations on. I definitely gave you a skill advantage over your enemy. So this one here, yeah, well, look, this one here gives you some pros and cons. Obviously, the higher health pool and greater endurance, which is, I think, going to be pretty handy. Obviously, healing effects are less effective, but I found with the Fallout 4 and 76 games, healing didn't seem to be a problem if you were prepared. So having the higher health pool and the greater endurance could be extremely useful. So that is definitely a trait that I would be considering as one of the 3 that you could probably use. Yeah, so definitely keep that one in mind. We'll go on to the next one, which is the dream home trait. So this one, you own a small home on a peaceful moon. It does come with a $50,000 credit mortgage with a Gull Bank. So yeah, that one, Housing, look, there are going to be pros and cons to that one, obviously, too. The 5,000 credit, usually a mortgage works, they say mortgage there, so I'd be like, what's the interest rate? Is there an interest rate? So you may be paying back more than the 50,000. The longer you have it, if anyone knows how a mortgage works, that could be that complex. It may not be that complex. It may be just a straight out 50 you got to pay back. So in that case, it may not be an issue over time. So definitely worth considering. The starter home, their pros and cons on this particular site doesn't really give you much, to be honest. It's basically what I just said in regards to the credit. But having a house is handy. I know early on, especially, I guess it's going to allow you to have a place to go, maybe to heal. You could fast travel to, possibly. You could store things there that you collect. And who knows what we're going to be given straight up. A small spacecraft, possibly. But the starter home could be something of interest as well. So that's kind of, we only get 3 of these traits to pick. So it's going to be a tough one, guys. And yeah, I think this one, yeah, it's not at the top of my list, but it's interesting. So look, the empathy trait. So you are deeply connected to feelings of others. Performing actions your companions like will result in a temporary increase in combat effectiveness, but performing actions they don't like will, have the precise opposite effect, of course. So now, look, this doesn't say whether the companions have to be with you. You might want to play this game solo, but have companions. I'm not sure if that's possible. So have the companions doing work, like on your ship or on your base, outposts, things like that. But you're running around the map essentially by yourself. And so if you are running around, then this one, if you do perform actions they don't like, it may not matter. So, but then it could have the opposite effect, as in if you're performing the actions and they know about it, they may, not perform as well in their duties, say on your outpost, whatever that duty may be. So being that I'm thinking of going down the route of the smuggling and the piracy kind of route, that may conflict with some of the interests of some of the companions that I want to pick up. But then it may not. So I don't know what these companions are. There's obviously going to be companions that have a dark side and companions that are going to have a good side. So I guess it's working out the best companions for you in game as well. So again, another one I would probably be, I don't know, maybe staying away from, because it only talks about combat effectiveness. So yeah, so, and then, yeah, so combat effectiveness may not be that big a deal. I'm thinking that I might stay away from that one just because of the combat effectiveness is not something that I'm going to be too worried about. I've played most of my Fallout games alone, so obviously, you learn to deal with things by yourself anyway, save regularly, and I don't think that would be an issue. So I'd probably be staying away from that one at the moment. Let me know what your thoughts are. All right, so this one has an opposite trait as well. This is the extrovert, and there's an introvert one. So extrovert obviously is you're an outgoing person. You're a people person. Exerting yourself uses less oxygen when adventuring with human companions, but more when venturing alone. So we're not really sure how oxygen works at this particular point in the game. Obviously, I haven't played the game yet, so is oxygen a big deal? Being a space game, I'm going to assume yes, it is. So this one may be useful. Yeah, it's hard to say because if you're with companions, are you going to play with companions or you're not going to play with companions? I think that's something you need to decide early because there are a few, obviously, skills as well, as well as traits that do revolve around your playing style, whether you're going to play alone or whether you're going to play with companions in the game. So I think these things need to be weighed up before you do go in and create your character. So that's a big decision for some people to make. Being that I want the trading empire and that, I think I'm gonna try this run through with companions. So that something that I think I will aim towards. I won't play this game solo. I'm going to try this game with companions. I've played, like I said before, as a solo player, so this one I'm going to play with companions. So I think this one could be up there as well. So yeah, obviously their pros and cons were similar to what I was talking about. Okay, so we got the Freestyle Collective Settler. So this one is interesting because you gain access to special Freestyle Collective dialogue options, so you'll get better rewards from some missions. Mind you, it says some missions given by the faction, but crime bounties towards other factions are greatly increased. I'm not that sure if that's a typo. To me, that doesn't really sound right, but can't be combined with other faction alliance traits, which makes sense, I guess. This is a Freestyle Collective one. Now, the way I think of bounties is that if you've got a bounty on say an outlaw or something that you've got to collect, you would think that it would greatly decrease that, not increase that. So that's a positive effect. So I'm not really sure. They said, yeah, the cons are crime bounties towards other factions are greatly increased. So maybe I'm misreading that. I don't really understand the wording there. So yeah, what are your thoughts on that one? What do you think about the wording? I'm probably just misreading that completely. Us Aussies do look at things a little bit backwards sometimes. So, but no, in all seriousness, I'm not really sure how that one is working. But if you do want to align yourself to Freestyle Collective early on and just stick with them for a while, this could be a really good trait to have anyway, because it's going to give you better rewards, and obviously those dialogue options are going to be really important in the game. So if you don't feel like that you're going to go off and too early get involved with other other factions, and it won't probably be that big a deal. Look, these things are swappable out. I believe traits can be changed. I know with one of the traits definitely has been confirmed that you can swap out, so we'll get that in a second. We'll move our way down. The hero worship trait. So this particular trait is that annoying fan that you saw. Not going to go with this one, I'll be honest with you. It does give you gifts. Not really sure what those gifts are going to be, but who knows? Like might be healing packs, or might be occasional guns or items that you can use in game, water, food. Who knows? They may be candy. How often is it going to be? And it doesn't say that he's gonna, he's gonna show up randomly, so he's not going to be with you all the time. So, and how random is that going to be? I don't know, so I might be staying clear of that one to begin with until we figure out more about what is actually happening. Yeah, so obviously your pros and cons are, if you can deal with him popping in and out all the time, then probably not a big deal. I don't think having that trait would be something I would be going with, but yeah, let me know what your thoughts are on that one as well. Okay, next one is this is the introvert. This is the opposite to the one we were looking at, the extrovert one. So this one's obviously if you're going to adventure alone. So this is pretty obvious. You're going to get more endurance when adventuring alone, and less endurance when you are with other human companions. So yeah, that's pretty straightforward. So work out whether you're going to play this game alone or you're going to play this with companions. Okay, next one is this is the kids stuff, your kids stuff trait. So this one, your parents are alive and well. This is the only trait I believe that you can actually get parents in game with. So, and this is one I found an article saying, someone kind of leaked this. It might be common knowledge, but that you can talk to your father and you can leave this trait behind if you want to. But essentially the article I read, this is a spoiler, so if you not want to know this information, please, I'm telling you now, this is going to spoil a little bit of information for you, but I found it interesting. So it is, apparently you do get gifts and things. It's not a massive spoil, but I won't go into too much, but it's essentially they will gift you with some stuff, and I think you may get a backpack that may allow you to carry a little bit more. It doesn't have a jetpack, so there's really not much to tell there. I won't go into too much, but yeah, it's somewhere you can, if you had your own, the home one, I'd probably not do the starter home one. I'd probably not do this one. I think this is the location that you can go to and possibly have your own room and store things and stuff like that as well. So I probably wouldn't do starter home and this one together. So yeah, another interesting one. I'm not sure what your thoughts are on this one, but Yeah, you've got to give them 10% of all your money too, so that's a real downside. So any trade-offs in some of the, I recall some of the skills that you can do when you're trading. You can do a skill that'll give you, you can buy for less and sell for more. That would be, be negating this. So, having this trade is, in my opinion, not going to be worth it if long term anyway. I think 10% of is a lot of money. Like, you're earning $100,000, you're going to be, giving them 10,000. That's quite a big chunk. It's 1/10 of your profits that you want to put towards other things like buying spaceships and new weapons and mods and things like that, but potentially. So this one, very interesting. I'd love to see how it all rolls out, this one, and how it plays out. In another playthrough, maybe I'll go with this one, but I might leave this one alone. Let me again know what you think, whether this is something, if you're watching this as the game has been released, and whether you're finding it fun to use this one. Please let us know in the comments below. But yeah, I'll be not starting out with that one, I don't think. So next one is the Neon Street Rat. So you grew up on the mean streets of Neon. You gain access to special dialogue options and better rewards from some missions on Neon. Crime boundaries by other factions is greatly increased. So remember, you just can't combine this with the other factions we were talking about earlier, which was the Freestar Collective Settler one. So essentially, this one will work very similar to Freestar Collective, but it only works on Neon. So just remember that. So any other things that happen outside of Neon, it won't work with. So whereas Freestar Collective, I think the bounties work anywhere, or maybe you can only pick these up on Neon. So these bounties here. So yeah, so you're getting again special dialogue options for better rewards from missions from a Neon. So, and yeah, excludes you from crime bounties on other factions. I don't think I'm going to go with either of the faction things. I think it limits you to what you can and can't do. I know they give you better rewards, but it does stop you from doing other missions. Or not stopping you, but then it decreases. So it's a negative versus a positive. I think being one, unless you're going to concentrate specifically on one, one faction, then that would be fine. But if you wanted to delve out into all of them, I think the rewards would be better if you didn't have either of these. So yeah, that's just my opinion. Let me know what you think. But all right, what do we have next? We have, all right, Raised Enlightened. So you grew up as a member of the Enlightened. You gain a significant discount at the organization store, which is an interesting term, and the organization store. So, but lose access to the Sanctum Universum store. Can't be combined with another religion trait. So yeah, so this is interesting. So you're getting access to discounts at a store. Now the interesting thing is, if you don't have this trait, it's not saying you can't access the store if you don't have this trait. So therefore you would assume if you didn't have the other trait that you wouldn't get discounts there, but you can still access it. So I think the benefit of not having these traits would be that you can, at this stage, without knowing a lot, to be honest, is that you can at least access this store, and obviously the Sanctum Universum store as well. That would be my understanding from reading that. It's not saying that if you have to have this trait to access it. It's just saying that you get a significant discount at that store. So if you do choose one of those traits, you're going to lose access to one of the other stores. So for me, that would be something I would leave alone. And yeah, let me know what your thoughts are. But I think leaving them alone and not having them at this stage anyway, with the information that we do know, I think, yeah, no, as we see here, this is the other one. Yeah, you basically, again, it does say discount. It doesn't say that you have to have it to access the store. So unless they need to update their wording, if you did jump into the game, you didn't have either of these traits, and you went these traits, I should say, and you went to the church store. You couldn't access it because you don't have the trait. That would be a different story. But I believe that you're going to be able to access it, and then it's not going to get that significant discount. So I'll be leaving both of those ones alone. What are your thoughts on that one? Okay, we have the Serpent's Embrace. So you grew up worshipping the Great Serpent. Jumping provides a temporary boost to health and endurance, but health and endurance are lowered if you don't continue jumping regularly, like an addiction. Can't be combined with any other religion trait. So this is a bit of a weird one. You have to jump regularly. So the health and endurance are lowered if you don't continue to jump regularly. Interesting. How regularly do you need to jump? So it's a strange one. Look, grav jumping provides a temporary boost to health and endurance. That sounds interesting and something that might be helpful in the game, especially in combat. I mean, you didn't tend to jump quite a bit, but does that mean you have to be grav jumping regularly to get that addiction? Or is just jumping when you're running down the road kind of thing also count? Who knows? An interesting one. Let me know what you think. If you think that it does apply to only grav jumping, that this particular bit that, where it says lowered if you don't continue to jump regularly, I assume it does mean grav jumping. So again, if you are not grav jumping and are on a home world and you're just walking around a lot, then I guess your endurance is lowered. So keep that in mind, and health. So yeah. Okay, we got the spaced trait. Your body has become acclimated. Excuse my reading of that one. Acclimated. There we go. Acclimated to space. I think that's right. Health and endurance are increased when in space, but decreased when on the surface. Can't combine with the terra firma. So if you're going to spend more time in space, great one to have. But if you're going to be spending more time on planets where you can actually walk around on, then the opposite, obviously, effect applies as well. So again, negative versus positive. The game at this stage, I think there's a mixture of both. I don't really see this one. I'm not really sure it's going to be positive. I don't know. I don't think it is a positive. I don't think I'd be choosing this one because I would assume not having either of them as traits would make sure that you are then, your health and your endurance is just balanced. So and do you remember we had the alien DNA as well, so that it gave you advantages. So it doesn't say you can't combine those two together, you just can't combine terra firma with this one. The wanted trait. So this one we don't, I'm not sure. We receive a damage buff when your health is low, and mercenaries will randomly appear and attack you is the con. So let's have a look at the traits for that one, because that's Starfield wanted. Let's have a look. It's going back to Nuke's Dragon website. Yeah, so interestingly enough, I've got the wrong one. Let's go back to this one. Starfield wanted trait. So I've got that at the end. I'm not really familiar. There we go with this one. So someone put a price on your head, and the word is spread. Occasionally, armed mercenaries will show up and try to kill you, but being a corner gives you the edge. When your health is low, you do extra damage. Now, if you can loot the mercenaries, it might be a positive, depending on how strong they are. But it could be annoying when you're in the middle of doing something and all of a sudden these mercenaries show up and try to kill you. So it does give you extra damage. There is a mutation way of doing this in Fallout 76 where you have low health all the time, and by using mutations, and it gives you a damage buff. It is super handy, don't get me wrong. It doesn't say this applies all the time. So I assume it would. I hope it would, because you're always at risk of you know, having these mercenaries show up to track you down, and the low health. Yeah, you'd have to you'd have to keep your health low all the time. So this is a very similar trait to the one in Fallout 76, where you are running around with low health all the time. You have to maintain that low health to get that bonus damage. So I do play that particular style in Fallout 76. So this is something of interest to me. I'm not sure what you guys think, but yeah, definitely worth the interest. So there you go. There's your three traits, or you have to pick from. I should say all the traits you have to pick from. You have to pick three. So for me, yeah, having that home world, having this wanted one seems interesting, but I still haven't made up my mind in regards to which ones to go with just yet. Let me know if you have and how it's working out for you. The notably the credit on this one says 125,000 credit mortgage, which has to be paid weekly. So I think it was 100,000 on the original image. So that might be updated. I'm not really sure. But yeah, so that's all our traits, guys. We're going to have a look at the skills. We've got less than an hour to go now until the game is released. So yeah, as I said, jump over to Nuke's Dragon, have a play around with this, and add in, you know, what you think you essentially how you want to do your setup. So I'm not going to get through every one of these. It's going to take too long, but we will look at the pros and cons quickly of them. So obviously boxing is a melee attack. If you really want to go around punching people and doing stuff like that, then this is for you. This is not the way I play. So I play with a, yeah, I play gun. I like stealth. I like close combat too, don't get me wrong, but snipering and a bit of stealth, close contact. I mean, you can do stealth and use this melee kind of boxing attack as well, I guess, but not something that I'm going to go through. But essentially, as you rank this up, you just get more damage. So, yeah. Fitness, you have 10% more oxygen. Again, there we go. We come back to that. We were looking at the traits before around oxygen. Is obviously an important thing in game. So you just get more oxygen with this one. Sprinting and power attacks now use significant less oxygen. That's at level 4. So stealth, this is something that I'd be interested in. Add stealth meter, you 25% more difficult to detect when sneaking. Suppressed weapons do an additional 5% sneak attack damage. I like that. So if you've got a suppressed weapon, it goes up obviously as you scale it. So 50% more difficult to detect. Suppressed weapons 10, and then it's 75, 15, and then it's 100% more difficult to detect you, which means they can't detect you, I guess. And then your additional damage is 20%. So on the suppressed weapons, yeah. Oh, and doors you interact with don't alert the enemies nearby. This one I will definitely be maxing out when I can. I think it's a great trait to have for a stealth setup. So I will be leaving that one at full strength, definitely. So we have weightlifting. Now, this has always been controversial with Fallout games, in my opinion anyway. Do you have it? Do you not have it? I'm a PC player, so for me, I can always mod this if I want to. Someone will definitely come up with a mod very quickly, how to have unlimited weight carry. But if you want to play vanilla and don't want to change anything, this may be something you might want to do. But I found that having like the perk cards in Fallout 4 and 76, those types of things, I never used because I found I wanted to put my points into more important things. So having an extra 10 kilos to me to use 1 point doesn't really seem that valuable when there's probably going to be, I'd say, backpacks or armor that increases your carry weight, and your companions. I believe there's things we'll get to in a minute that will actually help you with carry weight as well, that they can carry more carry weight as well, so you can give them items to carry. So this does go up to 100 kilos, which is quite a bit, I guess. And you do get a resistance to stagger at the very end. So, but you only get that on the 4th star, so that's using 4 points to get that up. At this stage, I don't see that something that I will use. This one's locked, so I guess increase your health by 10% is locked. Just basically goes up by 10% with each one. So it's locked at be your first one. I guess you just get that. Okay, so energy weapon. You need to work out what sort of weapon you're going to be using in game. So this one, obviously, if you are looking to use energy weapons, would be handy. Goes up by 5% increase, and yeah, and then you can reflect back damage by 50% when your health is low. So a good one if you do find you are enjoying using energy weapons in game. You won't know until you get in there, so I wouldn't choose this one straight off. Okay, so we've got gain resistance to airborne environmental damage. This could be handy. I know in the Fallout games there are things that you need to heal yourself from all the time, but then there are usually medicines you can take to heal yourself from this sort of stuff anyway, if you carry that stuff around with you. So that one I'd be waiting to see whether there is. I'd prefer to carry something to heal myself from some sort of damage than use a point to have it on all the time when it may not be effectively used all the time, if that makes sense. What's with these ads over here? My God. Okay, so let's have a look here. Let's get rid of that. There we go. That was annoying me. All right, so we have that's what happens when you're using incognito mode. You get these weird ads. Okay, so the next one that we were going to look at was can gymnastics unlock the ability to do combat slide. I've used this in other games. This is something new for Fallout. So I've never used it in Fallout games, but it has been a while. So combat sliding is pretty cool, but then again, it is just that. It is something cool. I mean, in combat, depending on how the combat's going to work in game, I found player versus player, this was super, super handy to have. I think I was using it in Destiny, if I recall. But as a single player game, maybe not as important. I don't know. I have to wait and see if I find that that is something I'll use at least 1 point on. Yeah, you can move faster in 0G. And obviously fall damage is something that you're going to take less of as well as it goes up. More stable while firing in 0G, so that's going to be handy as well. And replenish some O2 after... I have no idea what that word is. Mantling? Anyway, there you go. Someone please tell me what that is. New for me. Increase jump height, run faster after combat sliding or mantling. I have to figure out what that word means, mantling. Okay, so anyway, there you go. That's that one could be handy. Nutrition, food and drinks do 10% more effective, 20, 30, 40. I found that the perk cards when I was using Fallout 4 and 76, I didn't tend to go for perk cards that had this kind of thing. I just carry more food and drink on me. I mean, depending on how scarce it is in game, that's something we'd have a look at. But yeah, when we start playing, have a look at that. Physical damage is your plane tolerance. This is another thing very new as well. I'm not really sure. Physical damage is reduced by 5%, 10%, so on. So we'll just have to see with that one in game. Don't know how that's going to play out. I haven't seen anything on that to say whether it is good or not. All right. Cellular regeneration. Slightly increase the chance to recover from your injuries naturally. So this one could be handy. And then moderately increased chance to recover from injuries naturally. So this one, you would, if you were going to pick this one, you probably wouldn't go with. I wouldn't combine it with ones like pain tolerance or maybe even wellness. The food one, it seems like if this one is like going to increase you, 20% chance of not gaining an injury when you otherwise would. I'm not sure how injuries work in game yet. So, and like I said, physical damage. So we'll have to wait and see. A slightly increased chance to recover from injury, infections naturally. So again, we'll have to see how infections work in game. Martial arts, 15% increased chance to crit when a melee or an unarmed attack. So again, this is for your melee punching players, something that I'm not going to be doing, that I'm aware of just yet. Who knows? It might change my mind. It may be super fun in game to do. Concealment. You no longer set off enemy mines. Range sneak attacks do 2.5 more damage, and your melee sneak attacks do 4% normal damage. So this is a good one. If you, for me, I'm not going to be really looking at melee, but I am going to be looking at the range sneak attacks. This one is pretty cool, I think. Yeah, running while sneaking doesn't affect stealth, which is good. So therefore you can combine the stealth with this one, and running's not going to ruin that. So normally you have to be in like a sneak position or prone. Yeah, so this one would be super handy. And a range sneak attacks do 3 times the normal damage, and your melee sneak attacks do 5 times normal damage, and it essentially just goes up. You gain a chameleon-like ability when completely still and sneaking, so in other words, they almost cannot see you. Range sneak attacks do 3.5% more damage, and your melee sneak attacks do 8 more. So this is something, as it goes up again, engaging stealth causes distant enemies to lose you, and a range sneak attacks do 4% more damage. Melee 10% more damage. So definitely something I will be looking at putting on my character. Neuro strikes, 10% chance to stun an enemy NPC with an unarmed attack. Again, this is the melee unarmed attack situation, so I won't be probably using that I'm aware of. And then rejuvenation, so rejuvenate health outside of combat. So when you're in a non-combat situation or you've just finished combat, you don't need to take any meds or food or anything to regenerate your health. I'd say this will allow you to just regenerate quickly. It could be super handy depending on the situation. Right, that was physical. We're off to social now. Social is going to be important for my character. I'm going to be looking at a character that has obviously trading, piracy. It's going to be a lot of smuggling, things like that, where I'm going to be interacting with people, NPCs, and trying to get things that I think we'll go through this anyway. So obviously comments. This is what I was talking about earlier when it came to the traits, the negative effects of one of the traits in regards to buying and selling. This one, if you buy for 5, you can buy for 5% less and sell for 10% more. Scales as you go up all the way up to 20%. You can buy for 20% less and then sell for 25% more. So this could be handy. I mean, essentially you're buying something, for $100. It's a $100 item, then becomes, I guess, 80 for you. And then when you want to resell it, my math is not the greatest, but I'm guessing if you sell it for 25% more of the original price, I'm assuming the $100 price, 25% would give you an extra $25. So yeah, so it could be beneficial. 80, it does, if that works in, or you could be looking at it as a 5% increase from the difference. But I would say if you're buying for 20% less, then you're getting a $100 item for $80. And then when you're reselling that item, if it is initially still worth that $100, you will be selling it for 25% more. So that skill, if that mass is correct, let me know. I think that's a massive one to have if you're going to be trading. I think this is definitely one that you need to look at upscaling. I think money wise, I think if it's important game, this one could be super handy. So I will be looking at that one very closely. Okay, gastronomy, you can craft specific foods and drinks and recipes. So this one, depending on how useful they are or how hard they are to find or how much they cost to buy in game, could be handy too. So something definitely to consider. Persuasion, 10% increased chance of successfully persuading someone. This scales all the way up to 50%. Super handy for a smuggler or a trader. So I'm going to be looking at that. Scavenging, extra chance to find extra credit when scavenging containers. And the second one is to find extra ammo. And then obviously you're getting each one as it goes up and they don't disappear, so that's good. So coins, ammo, extra aid items in the third one, and then tracked resources when will give highlighted when you're using a hand scanner. Super handy, I think. If they fix some of the stuff from Fallout's games, I know this probably wouldn't be as effective in Fallout, because early on it was. I mean, like finding caps inside containers and things like that, was an advantage. So it could be in this game too. I'm the type of person, I'm going to look at opening and looting everything. So this could be a super cool thing to have on. But it is using 4 points of your character, so just bear that in mind. Theft is another great one too. Unlock ability to pickpocket targets, 10% greater chance. So this is the trick. This one, it scales, but it's never ever a certainty. But on the fourth one, I should say, you can now pickpocket holstered weapons. That's pretty cool, I think. So you've got an enemy who's got a pretty cool weapon and it's holstered. You got a 50% chance of pickpocketing that weapon. So yeah, I think that's pretty cool. Mind you, these effects too may affect your companions, and we were talking about those traits before. Your companions may not like the fact that you're pickpocketing or stealing, so just bear that in mind with the characters you do pick and how they affect their performance. Okay, so we have deception. Ships 10% stronger will automatically surrender to piracy demands. Enemies contraband scans 10% less effective. This scales again as you go up, all the way to 50 for both. Super handy in my situation of smuggling and piracy, trading, etc. Yeah, diplomacy. You can force a target NPC at or below your level to stop fighting for a while. So 10% higher level, 20% higher. Yeah, you can force a target NPC to permanently stop fighting unless they attack you again. So I'm not sure I'm going to go with this one. If they're fighting me, I probably want to finish the fight. If not, I'll run away if I can't beat them. But they're at your level anyway to begin with. So I'm not sure, someone at your level or below your level, I mean, do you really want to stop that fight? Do you want to, do you want them to stop? I prefer probably just to finish the battle and take the loot, to be honest. So that one I won't be picking at all. All right, intimidation. You can force a targeted NPC at or below your level to flee. Again, it's at or below your level. I know it scales as you go up, but again, why would you want to use this? I don't know. I don't think it'd be worth wasting your points on that one at all. That's my opinion with these two. Let me know what you think. Would you be using them at all? And if I've got any better, what you think, why would you use them? So I don't think you would use them. I think it's a waste of points at this particular point in time because of the at your level or below your level. Typically means that you'd probably be able to win the encounter anyway. Okay, isolation, 10% more damage and gain 50% more damage resistance for each spaceship and helmet equipped when you don't have companion or any crew. Again, if you're going to play a solo player, going back to the traits as well, you would combine this with that particular trait that was, the isolation. The person who's not playing very often, playing by themselves, I should say, with no companions, you'd use this one. So I won't be using it because I plan on having companions. So again, I think it's a wasted trait unless you are going to play completely solo in this game, which I don't think I would see too many people doing. I think the whole companion idea is super interesting, but maybe you are one of those people who are not going to have any companions. Let me know. Negotiation, you now have access to bribery in speech challenges like this one. Basically goes up as you go. Occasionally bribery won't cost any money. So obviously bribery is something that it costs you money to do, but would be super handy to have later on. So I'm thinking maybe not so much early on, but I definitely would be looking to use those points later on for sure. Ingestation, saying that wrong. Instigation, sorry. I will say that again. You can force a targeted NPC at or below your level to attack their allies for a limited time. Again, at or below your level scales, but again, coming back to the other ones that we were talking about, they're at or below your level anyway, so I would be not wasting points on that to begin with, just to see how battles go. Leadership, companions gain affinity 25% faster. And this one's cool because companions have 50% have 50 more health and 50 kg more carry capacity. So super cool. I think that's a good one. Companions will occasionally heal you when you get to low health. I don't know if I'd scale this one to that, but see what the last one is. Double the bonus of combat and companions. Companions have a chance to pick themselves up when in a down state. Look, do you lose a companion when they're in a down state? I would assume not. So I might scale this to the second one because the capacity and the extra health for your companions could be handy, but I don't think I would scale it to the next two, waste 2 points at this stage anyway. So just keeping that in mind. Outpost management, additional cargo links can be placed at outposts like this one. You definitely want this if you're going to be setting up bases, outposts. Additional cargo links would be super handy for trading. Additional robots can be constructed at outposts, and additional crew can be assigned at outposts, and outpost extractors produce twice as fast. This one is essential if you're going to be doing outpost building. Definitely a must. So this one you'll definitely want to work towards. Okay, manipulation. You can force a targeted NPC or below your level to obey commands for a limited time. Again, at or below your level. And it does scale up to 10 levels higher, 20 levels higher. And then, so manipulated targets now obey commands for a substantial amount of time. Look, this may be helpful. It's a little bit different in the wording to the other ones. So you get depending on what you're asking them to do, that would be the key. If you've got the option for them to go and sell them their ship to you cheaper or something, or go and collect a bounty on your behalf or something. I don't know. It might be handy, but at this stage I won't be looking at that one. I'll see how that plays out. Ship control, you now can have up to 4 active crew members. Definitely a must if you're going to be flying around your ship. It scales up to, there you go, 8 crew members top. So definitely something I will be looking at. I think crew members will be handy. How many you need, that is the key, I guess. You got to, I believe, pay these companions possibly. So having 8 active crew members may or may not be beneficial, may not be needed. You may only need the 4. So check that out, see how your scales. Xeno silence. You can force a targeted alien creature. I might be pronouncing that wrong too. So I would assume that the X is a silent, or the way it's pronounced is a xeno. I may be xenosolitology, sociology, xenosology. Anyway. You can force a creature targeted 10 levels higher than you to stop fighting for a limited time. You can force second level is force a target alien creature up to 10 levels higher than you to flee. And as this say limited time, so bear that in mind. You can force a targeted alien creature up to 10 levels higher than you to attack their allies for a short time. And then obey your commands 10 levels higher. So not sure about that one just yet. We'll have to see how we go. All right, well, that's social. We're up to 43 points that I've kind of just kept in there. Just bear in mind that's levels, so points you'll be using. Combat, we have the locked in ballistics. So ballistic weapons do 10% more damage. So this is I guess lasered weapons. But ballistics usually means rifles, shotguns, pistols. I'll have to see how that affects in game, I guess. But yeah, ballistics is generally ammo, like that sort of ballistical ammo, and it scales up. So handy if you're going to be using ballistic weapons, which I love to use. I don't really like using laser weapons. In Fallout 76, there's a lot of different guns. I tend to stick with the traditional ballistic type weapons, so definitely be looking at that one. Melee weapons, again, not for me, but this is something that scales up, so yeah, as well. Laser weapons, again, going to be using laser weapons, handy. I won't know until I pick up a laser weapon. I may get into the game and go, whoa, this laser weapon is awesome. Going to be using this one going forward. So I think that would be, something you'd have to just consider as you get into the game. How you go. Pistols as well. I think a lot of people are excited about pistols coming into the game. Look, pistols, in my opinion, I've used them in other games. I'm not like the biggest fan of crystals, to be honest, but I mean, I'd prefer a small, ballistic machine gun in hand than a pistol. But snipe, who knows? You might like it sneaking around up behind people and knocking them off with a sniper type gun. I watched John Wick 4 last night, chapter 4, and he loves using the pistols. So maybe rethink this one a little bit. I was like, maybe this could be interesting. Shotguns, again, close combat, generally do a lot of damage up close. So if you're that type of person that loves to get up close to your enemies, shotguns are extremely useful because they do a lot of damage very close to your NPC. So that will scale as well. So yeah. Throwing grenades. So this one, I'll see how this works in game. Obviously, grenades will work in game, but this just gives you greater radius, and as it scale up, you get more damage as well, and reduces the damage you take from explosives as well. Yeah, and all previous bonuses are doubled on the last one, so it could be interesting. Definitely going to keep that in mind and see how we go, but at first we'll just see how we go. Heavy weapons. If you're looking at heavy weapons, I'm not sure, are these heavy weapons able to take down what sort of bosses, what sort of monsters, aliens, things like that are in game that you may need a heavy weapon for. So that is something definitely worth considering. You might be able to take out an enemy ship from the land it's taking off or something, or I don't know. Or like I said, an alien creature that's like massive and you need a heavy weapon to take it out. This could, if you're coming up against a lot of them, this could be good. Just bear in mind, heavy weapons weigh a lot generally, so it's going to impact your weight as well, I would say. Generally in other games this is the case. So heavy weapons generally, unless they've got some sort of trait or that allows them to have a lighter weight. So yeah. Incapacitation. EM weapons do 10% more weapon, 10%, 15. And then EM weapons, incapacitation. All right, so yeah, I hope I'm saying that right. Particle beams, another weapon, of course, same thing as the rest, scales as you go up. So you have to work out what guns you want to use in game. The rifles, this is something I would be looking for. I like rifles, so they reload at the rifles 30% faster when you're standing still, which you tend to do anyway when you're using a rifle. So something. Marksmanship, increase critical hit chance when a non-automatic weapon. So if you're using a rifle that's not automatic, this one scales by a very small percentage. But still handy for someone. 3%. I don't know if I'd be using this straight away. It's not a lot, so maybe later on in game it's something to increase, as you get more points that you don't want to allocate to other things. Rapid reloading. Reload ballistic weapons 30% faster. Again, ballistic weapons up here. So then at the second level, it's reload energy weapons and EM weapons 30% faster. So if you're not going to be using energy weapons, or you wouldn't need to go to this level, and then particle beam weapons, so forth. And so as you go up the levels, obviously, chances of hitting enemies to increase reload speed for all weapons by 50%. So yeah, just bear in mind what weapons you are using and what points you want to put into that one. The sniper, obviously a scoped weapon. Increases, hold your breath longer, headshots do more damage, scope weapons do 50% more damage while using the scope. Being that I'm looking at using a sniper carbine rifle, hopefully in game, that's something I'd be looking forward to. Targeting, increase the accuracy and range when shooting without aiming. So this is shooting from the hip. So essentially, you're not looking down the iron sight or the scope. So this is, like if you're using a machine gun probably, or maybe even a laser weapon, it's going to do more damage as you, accuracy is going to be increased. So just bear that in mind. Attacks, armor penetration attacks, ignore 50% of target's armor. This scales, super handy. Increase critical hit chance when a non-automatic ranged weapon. So this comes back to the ballistic rifles or sniper rifles we were talking about. Critical hits. Level 4 hits using a non-automatic ranged weapon without a scope do more damage. So bear in mind that this is without a scope. So if you're using a rifle without a scope, great. If you're using a sniper rifle, it's not going to apply. So just bear that in mind. You may not need to use this 4th skill. You might just want to take it to 3 because it doesn't say anything about scopes in 3. So crippling. Human enemies have 30% increased chance to enter a down state after taking enough damage. And then humanoid enemies take 50% increased chance to not recover naturally from down state. And then human enemies can now enter a down state earlier. So interesting to see how that one plays out. This is sort of new. I'm not sure how this one's going to work. 25 minutes to go, guys. I'm just going to check my Steam account. I might restart it. Yep, still saying coming the 6th. I don't know how that's going to work. It'll be interesting to see. A lot of people are asking questions on Reddit about, how does that work? Is it going to, for me, I'm in Queensland, Australia. It's 10 a.m. When we are able to play according to the release notes. It's 9:35 a.m. now, so 25 minutes to go. Sharpshooting, we're up to now. Increased headshot critical damage by 50% with a ranged weapon. Super handy. Increased critical damage to an enemy's legs with a ranged weapon. Increased critical damage to enemies by 50% with a range. That's all enemies. And critical hit with a ranged weapon. Kills increase your critical hit chance with a ranged weapon by 25% for 20 seconds. So I'm not really sure how that works. It's obviously a time thing when you're aiming or shooting, maybe. Could be handy though. All right, last. No, we've still got science and tech to get through. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff in this, isn't there, guys? So, yep. Hang on a second. It's going to take a drink. All right. I have no idea how to pronounce this. Astrodynamics. There you go. Astrodynamics. I think that's how you say it. Increase grab jumping range of jump drives by 15%. And then reduce fuel costs of jump drives by 15%. Increase grab jump range and reduced fuel cost of jump drives by 30%. And reduced fuel cost of jump drives by 50%. Now, if you're flying around a lot, this is going to be super handy. So now, initially, I thought that we weren't going to have to worry about fuel and things in ships. So I'm not sure how it's going to work. Interesting. Like if you run out of fuel and you're in mid-space, what happens? So obviously, in order to use the jump drives, you need fuel. Maybe you just can't jump without the fuel and you need X amount of fuel to do it. It's going to cost you X amount. So if you're jumping around a lot, this would be super handy to have. Again, we'll have to see in-game how much this would affect your actual, flying time, I guess you could say. So definitely something to look out for. Geology, get more common and uncommon resources, inorganic resources from surface objects. Then we get more rare inorganic resources from surface objects, get more exotic, and then we get rarer. So definitely if you're going to be setting up a outpost for mining and trading and things like that, this would be super handy to have. Rare resources you can use and possibly sell as well for money. Medicine, med packs, strong packs, restore health 10% faster. Now I found I didn't use these types of perk cards in Fallout. I felt like there was enough med packs and emergency kits around to be able to just use more of them rather than having a percentage. So wasting points on something like this would be something at first I'm not going to look at doing. We'll see how easy it is to find these med packs and get them rather than wasting points on something like this. So up to you. Let me know what your thoughts are on that one. Would you be using the medicine skills? I won't be at this stage. We'll just have to see how it plays out. Research methods, resources required to craft items and complete research projects are reduced by 10%. This scales up to 60. So super handy if you're doing crafting items. So just bear that in mind. So if you're crafting, I'd say like weapons or I don't know, whatever, furniture, don't know what things are, completing research, these things, then you're going to need this card for sure. So something I will be definitely looking at. Surveying, again, another important card. I think this one, especially early on, when you're on a planet, or it adds an additional zoom to the hand scanner, and the scanner distance is increased by 20 meters, which is considerably quite a distance, I think. And it does go up to 50 meters. So it's good, say, if you're a lot of running around. So something, if you're on a planet, you're scanning for resources, or maybe even enemies. I'm not sure how the scanner works at this stage, but being that it's in science, who knows? It could be enemies, and it could be resources. I think that this one is definitely something that you should look at getting either way. Botany, get more uncommon, common and uncommon organic resources from plants. Again, this kind of goes into the geology one. I think super handy having this one. When you get to these higher levels, it says learn information about them more quickly using the scanner as well, and harvest additional resources. I think this one would be super handy as a trader slash, well, you're going to need resources anyway in this game, so I think this one is definitely something that I'll be working towards. Scanning, you can detect uncommon inorganic resources on a planet, and mood services more information about more information about ships in space. Super handy. Scales, again, you can detect rare and organic moon surfaces and ships. This one, definitely scanning, I think, is super important. So definitely tells you what listed cargo on ships as well. So I think that's super cool. I think I'm going to definitely look at getting that one. Let me know what you guys think. If you're going to have a ship, I think that's definitely a must. Space suit design, you can craft and improve spacesuits, helmets, and packs. Mod, research additional mods. Definitely something I'm going to have a look at. I love creating and modding things in game. It's going to be really super cool. See what we can actually do. You can research and craft superior spaceships. This goes, so we got superior, and then we jump cutting edge space equipment at number 3, and then at number 4, crafting, construction of these things occasionally doesn't cost resources at all. So you may or may not want to use the the 4th one. I don't know, but it definitely I think up to 3. I think the occasional on the last one, is it really worth wasting a point at this stage? Maybe later on. As you can see, we're already up to 96 points just with the ones that I'm kind of looking at. So I'm using a lot of points. That's a lot of levels. So, and as you scale, it's going to be harder to get these points. So yeah, early on you might get to 50 quite early, depending on how fast you're going. 100 after a bit of time, and then I'd say as you're working towards the hundreds to 200s in levels, it's going to slow down considerably. And remember, every one of these particular things that you need to do, for every level you need to complete tasks as well. So the resource, say botany, you may need to, in the first, to get the first star, I can't remember what it is now, but you may need to harvest 10 plants, or different types or something, and then the next one you may be 100, or the next one maybe 1,000, or something, So these are all things that you got to take into mind when you're actually scaling these as well. Can you complete them? So, and can you have to complete them before you can actually get them, if that makes sense as well. So yeah, keep that in mind. Weapon engineering is going to be very, very similar to spaceship design. It gives you the ability to research mods, and it levels as you go. See, cutting edge again. The 4th one, funnily enough, though, you can research and craft master level weapons. Doesn't say anything about occasionally doesn't cost you resources. Interesting. So that one, yeah, it's just giving you the option to get master level weapons, which I think would be pretty cool. Zoology, this one gets you uncommon organic resources from creatures you harvest without harming them. So if you like a cow taking milk rather than killing the cow and getting meat, if that makes sense. So yeah, and you learn more information from the scanner. It allows you to produce animal resources at your outpost. Super cool. I think I'm going to definitely be going down this route. Get more uncommon organic resources from creatures and lore information about them more easily when using the scanner. Number 3, get more rare organic resources from creatures and learn information about them more quickly with a scanner. Number 4, occasionally harvest additional resources. So this one, zoology, pretty cool. I think definitely going to be looking at that one, going down that route as well. Astrophysics, you can scan the moon of your current planet. So you can scan the moons of your current planet. You have a 10% chance to discover a trait when scanning. That's interesting. So a 10% option, so that's pretty cool. So you think about it, you're scanning the moons of your current planet. I'm guessing this is the planet you're on, or you have a outpost on. If you're scanning that moons, you have a 1 in 10 chance of discovering a trait. So you're just going to pick up a trait for free. So it reminds me of Civ games when you discovered a village. It gave you some sort of same thing, a perk or something in the game where you learned something about science or something, or a weapon technology or something. So this scales, so it's up to 20%, a 1 in 5 chance, and then you have to scan. You can scan any moon, or any planet or moon within 16 light years. You have a 30% chance to discover a trait when scanning. So essentially, this goes up to again a 50% chance to discover a trait. So this, I think, is worth pointing points into as soon as you can, because it's going to give you free traits potentially, depending on how often you can use it. So something to keep that in mind. Obviously, it's not going to be, you can't like continually spam the scanning button and then get all the traits. So that's something to keep in mind. It'd be interesting to see how that works in game. I think that's one that we definitely want to look out for. What else we got here? You can create, improve chems and research additional chems at a research lab. So yeah, I mean, again, it comes down to how rare chems are. For me, in the Fallout games, chems were really easy to find eventually when you knew where to look. So I'm not sure I will be going down that route at this stage. Outpost engineering, absolute must. You can construct and improve outpost modules and research additional modules at the research lab. As it scales up, superior, cutting edge, and then cost 50% fewer resources to build. So absolute must if you're building outposts. Special projects, you can research experimental projects at the research at a research lab, and you can craft rare manufactured components at an industrial bench. You can craft exotic manufactured components at industrial bench, and you can craft unique manufactured components at an industrial bench. Outpost distractors have a chance to reduce additional resources. So yeah, so this one's good. The last one's really cool. Can you find these? It says research experimental projects. So you can craft rare manufactured project. Can you find or buy these components? If you can, you may not want to use this point straight away. But this fourth one, definitely later on, in regards to the outpost distractors, is like additional resources. Is going to be super handy, I think. So yeah, something to think about. Planetary habitation. You can build outposts on planets with extreme temperatures. Deep freeze, inferno. Increase the maximum number of outposts you can build by 4. That's cool. Definitely a must. And it scales. So to 8, to 12, to 16 outposts. How cool is that, guys? You have to have 16 outposts. Cannot wait to get to the point where I've got 16 outposts scattered around the universe, and I'm sending, trading, back and forth, and yeah, it's going to be amazing. So cannot wait. We're down to 12 minutes. It's not too far away. So still nothing on Steam. Just having a quick look. So we've got the next one is ship reactors produce 1 extra unit of power. This scales. I think this was important when I've seen a few videos on this from other people. I haven't myself looked into this too much, but ship reactors are super important in regards to powering your ship. So if you want, have your, all guns and all, your speed in the ship, when you're flying, getting attacked or trying to chase down another ship, these things could be super important. So yeah, keep that in mind as well. Tech is like, this is the last one, isn't it? I think. No, physical. We're not going to get through them all before the game starts, so I'm just going to sort of zoom through them now a little bit. Ballistic weapon systems. This is ship stuff. So, again, type of weapons you're putting on your ship, I guess. This one says ballistic. You have energy ship weapons down here. Increases your ship speed. I think boost pack training. You can now utilize boost pack. That is a must, so just keep that in mind. Your piloting is already locked in, so you can now utilize ship thrusters. Just increases ship capacity as you go up. Security, I think hacking terminals and locks is super important early on, so definitely worth looking at. Can you shoot down a ship manually? This is a targeting function, may or may not be needed early on. Cargo holds, hold 10% more, 20, 30, 50, super important later on in game, I'd say. Shields on your ship. You've got ship's missile weapons, particle beams, robotics. You deal 10% more damage to robots and turrets. Allows the installation of improved ship modules. So, yep, that's pretty cool. Superior ship modules, cutting edge ship modules. If you're building a ship, super important. A lot of these things are going to be super important. But again, you're using points. We're already at 134. I haven't selected any of these. So, a ship systems repair 10% faster. Scales. Automatic ship weapons. Automated ship weapons do 10% more damage. Scales, as you can see. Boost assault training. Nearby enemies take damage when you boost and have a chance to catch on fire. Yeah, look, visually fun. I don't know if I'd waste 4 points on it. Yeah, fuel still expended until empty. Yeah, I'm not sure if I'll use that one, but interesting. EM weapons on ships. Again, coming back to what types of weapons you're going to put on your ships. Energy, ballistic, etc. All right, we're going to skip over to physical because we're down to 9 minutes before the game is going to start. We'll stop the stream and restart the stream when I start to play. I think I've made myself more confused as to what traits. Traits are going to be in-game anyway, so once you start playing, you don't need to pick those traits straight away, so just bear that in mind too. Don't feel, I believe anyway, I know that was the case with Fallout games. When you get traits, options to put them on, you don't need to select them straight away, so just hang on to them until you know what you want to use or you find yourself using more of. But obviously people are going to want to be boost pack is an important one. The hacking one, I definitely would say go in early. And then there's some things like, combat. I'd wait on combat, see how you go with types of weapons that you're using. And some of these social skills are going to be important early on too, because you want to, be able to talk your way into situations, out of situations, and bribe, stuff like that. We're up to physical now, so no, we went through physical, so that's all of them actually. We were at tech, so this was the last one we're at because it just scales through. So we did do physical. We did have a look at stealth and stuff like that, concealment. So we basically have gone through everything, guys. As I said, the traits are the three things that you're going to have to make a decision on when you're building a character. The skills, not so much. You can pick them in game. So yeah, coming back to the traits, just to recap. Actually, we'll have a look at them on here first. We'll go back to, this is what it would look like too, guys, if you haven't seen the Nukes a Dragon page. So it does show you when you select these things where all your points are allocated. You see there's some warnings here on some of these. You may need to I can't remember exactly why they. I think to enable to use that one concealment or whatever one was, you had to pass something else. So we'll have to look at that at in game. Not 100% sure at this stage. And then traits. Well, we selected dream home, the wanted possibly. This is tough. You only get 3. So space, health and oxygen increase when in space, but decrease when on the surface. I don't like having a negative effect like that, because when you're on the surface, your health and oxygen is going to be less, and you're definitely going to be fighting and doing stuff on the ground. So I'll leave that one alone. Terra firma is basically the opposite, leaving that one alone. Extrovert, introvert. You may want to use this one if you're planning on using companions. So, because it does give you a bonus. The alien DNA, there you go. It doesn't say you can't combine these with either of these two, but result, you get an increase in health and oxygen, but healing food items aren't as effective. So kind of like the alien DNA one, because it's saying that your health and oxygen are increased, and food, it just means that maybe you can heal. You can heal better. You just have to eat more food and drink more water. I'm sure those things are quite easy to find. Dream home. Do you want to lay out the 125,000 credits to get your mortgage? Something that I'm gonna probably try and see what happens. I don't know. Empathy. This one obviously comes back to combat effectiveness of your companions. So yeah, not sure about that one. Hero worship. The annoying fan. Gonna stay away from that one. It's interesting, but I don't know if I want to waste one of my traits on that one. Kid stuff. The parents giving you. Now it did say 10% on the initial trailers. I may have missed something. Where are we? On this, the older picture, someone probably knows something that I don't know. If it is 10%, I think that's too much. But if it is 2%, that is something different. So I'm sure it said, here we go. Yeah, so this is a photo from one of the original videos that they put out. It says 10% of all your money, but on this particular site, they seem to be pretty switched on. Nukes Dragon, if you know something that I don't know, please let me know. But it says 2% here of your credits to them home. 2 is not too bad. So maybe actually worth considering that one. 2, I find probably a little bit better. Yeah, Taskmaster, occasionally if you have a crew trained in a certain ship system, that system will automatically repair itself. So it may be handy. There's the wanted. You can do dream home and kid stuff. I'm not sure if you want to do both. Tough one. And is the home a home, or is it just like a room in a hotel? You know what I mean? I don't know about that one just yet, so I'll have to see. Freestar, this is when these ones I'm staying away from because they align you with a particular faction or religion. So not sure I like the idea of having the parents thing. A credit mortgage is something you can generally pay off. Darling in yeah, DNA, I think absolutely. This is going to be a tough one. Let me know what you guys went with. We're getting pretty close now, so the third one, I haven't made up my mind just yet. When we do start up the game, I will have to make a decision on what I am going to do. Yeah, I think I want to go full health in this game, so Wanted's not something I'm going to go with straight away. I think I'll go to Dream Home, Alien DNA, and I think I'm going to go... Maybe I will go there. Hero worship. Yeah, I'm going to go hero worship. They're the ones I'm going to go with. I think Alien DNA, Dream Home, hero worship. Going to throw all caution to the wind. And there we go. So there's our filled out, skill tree, things I'm going to be concentrating. Although there was a bit of physical stuff that we didn't put in there. So, but you can see the amount of points I've used. So, look, I'm going to end the stream there, guys. And if you are watching this or have watched this, thank you very much for watching it. Please hit the like and subscribe button if you want more content. I'm going to be playing the game pretty full on over the next couple of weeks. I've got time off work, so I'm going to be playing the game and putting out tutorials and videos and doing a playthrough series as well. So yeah, once again, Wombat Gaming out. Thank you guys for joining me.